I have to say, inequalities, social inequalities here in America are just another level, especially in New York or around New York. Here we are in Long Island. They are so in your face. They're not only visible, they are really in your face. For example, in these areas of Long Island, you will see some pretty regular towns, average income houses, and then you turn in a pretty road and you find yourself in a whole neighborhood of mansions. I'm talking about mansions of different levels, I have to say, because some of them are, I don't know, really huge houses, houses with many different bedrooms and a very nice garden outside with a bunch of trees. But others are really, you don't even see the mansion. You barely can see it because there's this very grand gate at the entrance, and then it's a park. Basically, these people have parks in front of their homes that are, I would say, even bigger sometimes than public parks, which, it says it all. How can you have a private park that is bigger than a public park? And this doesn't happen sporadically. It unfortunately happens quite often. Oh, they have private roads too. Yes. They're not small roads. They're full roads that are just private. Farmers market, stop. Gonna show you what I got and how much I paid. A little cheese. This is probably very expensive, although, oh yeah, wow, $12.50. This is probably 4 portions of cheese. I got a blueberry scone, $3. And then I got 3 apples of different types. There you go. For all this quantity of food, I paid about $20. Well, $12.50 is only for the cheese, 3 for the scone. And apples are very expensive in America in general. I don't know why they are. These were $3.50 per pound. 1 pound is half a kilo, so $7 per kilogram, more or less. Oh, this apple is delicious. Nice and tart, crispy, juicy. I guess what I'm trying to say is simply this. Wouldn't it be better, instead of few people having a lot and having their environment beautiful, their house is huge, the places they go to all full of luxuries and comforts, and then for the rest of the people, which is the majority of people, the places are really pretty ugly and not pleasant to spend time to. Instead of having this situation, wouldn't it be better for everyone if we all had beautiful places to live in, but not full of luxuries? I mean, who need all these luxuries? Who need all these golf courses? Who needs to live in a mansion with 20 bedrooms? I think nobody really needs it. It's just an extra that I think we can all agree doesn't add happiness to a family's life. Instead, having public spaces that are livable, pleasant, nice, beautiful, that really adds up to a society. I think that today, by driving around Long Island, I understood why Americans try to be rich, why wealth is such an important objective for so many Americans. Having an Italian perspective, I really struggled to understand how the American society works. I was expecting when I moved here I was expecting it to be more similar to the Italian society, to how things work back in Italy. But in reality, things are very different. The system is very different. In Italy, most of the people have very modest income, just like here, just like in any country. But with a very modest income in Italy, you can really live well, very well. You have free healthcare. And it's a good type of healthcare. Like, doctors really do take care of you. It's not like here. So already if you have health issues, you're covered. You don't need to come from a wealthy family. You're covered. Accessibility to facilities, public facilities. I mean, parks, beaches, mountains, trails, all these kind of things. It's so much easier in Italy. You don't really need to have money to access to all these things. I mean, it's true here there are public parks everywhere, thank God, more or less everywhere. But I have to say, many public parks are just ugly. They are not very pleasant to be in. And I thought that maybe in this country there is a different sense of aesthetics. I don't know. I thought maybe this is what people here consider beautiful, and I have a different type of aesthetic coming from Italy. But today I was looking at all these private places. I actually entered into some private places, private roads and stuff like that. And it's probably illegal, but you know what? This time I didn't care. I was just curious to look. And oh my God, I've seen places I cannot even describe. I obviously didn't film in these places, but I've seen so much luxury. I think I found my spot where to make a pasta for lunch and finally eat something. I've been driving quite a while because I wanted to go to a beach. Most of the beaches where I ended up, just looking at Google Maps, were either private beaches or for residents only. Beautiful places, by the way. It's just that they were private. And I hope I finally found a public beach, but I have to say, it's really ugly. Maybe I need the gas canister. I was trying to find a beach that is public today because I want to take a swim, and I struggle so much because so many beaches are private or they're for residents only. And at a certain point, I even ended up, I googled this beach, and it was supposed to be public beach. In order to arrive there, I drove through a gate that was going into a golf course. It was a golf club. I drove for 5-10 minutes into a golf club all the way through it, and then at the end there was the beach. I mean, the golf club was just, oh my god, amazing. So much greenery, so many hills, and this beautiful bright grass and these tall trees all around the place. And then you arrive to the beach, and there is a facility into the beach. I actually used the bathroom. I needed to pee. These bathrooms, guys, they were so big and clean and luxurious. There were tampons and pads in every toilet, free for you to take. And then the beach was just fabulous. And then I drove through very wealthy neighborhoods. I mean, of all types of wealth, I feel like, because there were both huge mansions surrounded by entire parks, and also just very wealthy houses with nice garden and the little fountain at the entrance, stuff like that. And coming from the ugliness of a not so wealthy Manhattan neighborhood, which is the Lower East Side where I live, seeing the difference between what people have there, or today I stopped in Queens, for example, comparing what I see there to what I've seen today in these very wealthy neighborhoods, I can totally understand why for an average American, it is so important to become wealthy, to become rich. Because here I've heard that if you buy a house, the taxes that you pay depend on the neighborhood that you choose, basically. So if you buy a house in a wealthy neighborhood, not only the cost of the house is going to be higher, but also the cost of all the taxes that you're going to pay is going to be higher. But this also means that the schools that are there for your kids are probably going to be much better, and you're going to have access to a private beach and all these kind of things, stuff that you wouldn't have if you weren't wealthy enough to be able to afford to buy a very expensive house. Okay, you can believe me or not, but I'll tell you this. This smells delicious. I didn't remember I made such a good sauce. It's I don't know, I got these amazing canned tomatoes, like a huge can from my husband's restaurant, and I mixed them with onion, garlic, some soy bits, dehydrated, I don't know how they're called. Vegans use them as substitute for meat. They're already cut into small pieces, so it's kind of a vegan ragu, I guess. I'm not vegan. Plenty of rosemary at the end. It smells so intense. Oh yes. Oh my god. Oh my god. I made it last week and I froze more portions. I didn't remember it being that delicious. Put a lot of carrots too. Oh my god. People, you gotta try this. Look, my mother would kill me if I said that this is as good as meat ragu, bolognese, but I'm not gonna lie, it comes close. It does come close. So it's true that in America, there is a lot of social mobility, I think they call it. I don't quite remember the technical term. It is relatively to Italy very, very easy to become more successful, more wealthy, make money. There are so many chances. If you are someone who comes from a very poor background, but you have certain qualities, you are brave, you are not shy, you are self-confident and all these kind of things, and you are kind of smart, you can really, get an education through a scholarship and then build your own business or start a career in a very good company and make a lot of money. This is true, although I also feel that the American society, for how it is spread on the territory, I mean, I'm talking about urbanism here, how the cities are built, how the towns are built, how the territories are managed. It feels to me that there are social bubbles. So of course there are ghettos, there are everywhere, but when I drive through neighborhoods like the ones that you can find here in Long Island, that are very wealthy, and they are entire neighborhoods. It's not an isolated house in the middle of average houses that is a mansion. There are full neighborhoods with only mansions. So try to imagine if a kid grows up there, becomes a teenager there. He grows up with this idea that that's normal. I mean, that is his normality, of course, but that is not normal for the whole society. I think it's a little bit of a dysmorphic view of the world that you build if you live in a neighborhood like that, because it's like living in a bubble where everyone else around you has the same life, has the same habits, the same privileges. So it doesn't really feel like you're having any privilege at all. But you really do. You are just that 1% of the population in the end. It's just that you are living together with the rest of the 1%. Yes, it's very interesting. It's coming from Italy. I was not used to this. In Italy, I feel like the different social classes are all mixed together. Of course, there are wealthier neighborhoods and poorer neighborhoods in the cities. There are towns that are more wealthy, towns that are less wealthy, but it's not that drastic as it is here. I don't see these bubbles, these social bubbles in Italy. everything is more mixed together. Everyone lives together with other members of the society that do not belong to the same class.